weaknesses are? Do you know what your capacity is? Have you let other people define it for you, or have you defined it for yourself? I think that's what matters. I could have thought that it would be fair for me to just let somebody think that I'm from UAE, but no, I'm from India. I live in UAE. Two different identities, but the name remains the same. The work I do remains the same. And I stand for my work, my name. And I think we all should. Once we know who we are and our relationship with ourselves is very, very clear, and you don't, you just let somebody think that I'm from UAE. But no, I'm from India. I live in UAE. And I'm echoing.
It's good hearing your own voice, isn't it?
I know. And I'm echoing for whatever faulty reason, but that was nice to hear. So yes, I'm from India. I'm a wordsmith. The work I do, the place I come from, it has a lot to do with the relationship you have with yourself, because we're just so used to looking at the man in the mirror. But what happens when you turn that mirror inwards and look at the person inside? Look at the soul inside. Because definitely you're a lot more than your two eyes, a nose, and beautiful lips. You're here for a reason. What is that reason? Figure it out. And once you are clear on what you're here to do, you can definitely make a difference in somebody else's life. Because only when you hold a torch and walk the path, you have people following with you. But if you don't know where you're going, it's just going to be very confusing. And a lot of us are just confused, following a path, following a fad, following a kind of thing that's going on, and everybody is wearing plateaus, so everybody's wearing plateaus. Hey, I like to wear what I'm wearing. And this is my business suit, as some of you guys may have heard from me earlier. And so this is me. Take me as I am, because I have chosen to take me as I am. And thank you, because I'm more than my name.
I have to say something here, like as I talked about this common sense and being fair and all. We usually have these problems in the families, right? In my family, I had issues with I really liked it when Rukaya said, like, she was asked, who are you? Same question I had gone through. From my family member, from a very close one. He said, who are you, by the way? What do you think of yourself? Who are you? So, these things make you think, who are you? And that's why we are here now. We all are here. Who are you? We are we. I am me. I'm Kuldeep. But not only Kuldeep, Kuldeep is just a name, but you know what is inside me. I really agree with you, what you said, and I appreciate that. Because yesterday we had a session about blame game team, and that's what we talked about. So, being yourself, that's one of the topmost thing. To understand self, what is self, that's the most important thing. To come out of, to look to the world. Through your work, not through your eyes. Through your work, through yourself. So you have to go inward to come outward. That's most important.
True. And I think we're so often looking at circumstances. We're so often looking at what's going on around us, and we think we're defined by that. And we also think that possibly the circumstance is me, but it's not. It's definitely a lot more than that. True.
Anyone has to say anything?
Yeah, what
You
I
had
want
one.
to say is all about, in a nutshell, you are at the source, and first thing is you have to start loving yourself and love others. You have to forgive yourself, forgive others, and you have to accept yourself and accept everyone.
Yeah.
And from there, if you start your journey, I think it's a wonderful journey.
Yes, same thing, like it's all about self. Once you doing all these things to yourself, then only you can do to others, otherwise you can't do.
But
If people just say that, yeah, sorry, you can go ahead.
Yeah, God has not given us to justify anyone. invalidate anyone.
No.
So it is all about acceptance.
Yes.
Acceptance, you do it forcibly, or acceptance, you are doing it passionately. That makes a huge difference. So, because that makes a huge difference to yourself.
Yes.
Because otherwise you are slowly and gradually going into stress. Because someone, a kind of a jargon that you have to accept everyone, you start doing that as a doing and no shift in your being.
But how long can you do that? That's the thing. You can't do it for long.
Beingness is you have to shift yourself and it gets transformed.
Can I share? I forgot to share a little bit. No, please, after you.
Is it on? I love you. I was just thinking about how often in relationships that we so often are upset or feel hurt by someone else because we are looking out to them for acceptance for ourselves. And I just think that over and over we do the same thing, especially those closest to us. So a spouse or a child or usually those, or a parent. And we just keep looking to them for acceptance, and so then we feel, well, they're abusive, or they're unkind, or they're not giving me what I need, and I'm still on this journey. Whereas if I would say, when you said, your words, I am worth standing up for, were so powerful.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and it wasn't from a place of ego of, I'm so important. It was that I matter essentially, just unfathomably so much. You matter so much. And we all matter so much. And yet it is so, a journey to enter in and really start believing that. And then the people around you will mirror that acceptance. So often a big personality, like say someone who's very controlling or powerful, feels very powerful in your life. When you say, I am this person, not out of I'm going to stand against you, but I am this person, and they say, yes, you are that person. It's no longer, people want us to be strong in ourselves. They really do. I think so often when there's imbalances in relationships, it is because it is uncomfortable for the other person. For those of us that go into victimhood or weakness or low self-esteem, it's uncomfortable for the other person. It's irritating even. And if you stand in your power, they know how to stand with you. Just a thought that kind of in my journey with this.
Yes. So at the end of the scolding session and the can I session, I was asked, I sat up and we did some chakra healing. And then I said what I had to. I said what I had to. I let go of all the anger that was inside of me. I had to. Was it fair for my mom to not notice when I ran up to her as a little girl of 4 saying, somebody did something and you need to listen? She didn't. So I felt nobody listens. Was it fair that something happened and I was hurt. Okay, I was punished, reprimanded for not being honest. And that was an injury that I took scar that I carried with me for a very, very long time. But I had to let go of that anger. I think I screamed that day when she burnt my hand. She held out my hand and she burnt it. For a very long time, I thought I screamed that day, but I think even then my voice didn't come out because I thought nobody listens. And that was the reason I did not want to say it at that point. Yes, please.
If I may, to my mind, relationships or anything cannot be in a vacuum.
Sure.
And our environment is defined by our perception, and perception is defined by our experiences.
Exactly.
Right? So I might have a lot of bitterness within me because of the experiences I've been through. And that might define how I perceive my environment.
True.
And that perception defines the relationship that I would engage in.
True.
So if my childhood has been scarred, I'm going to feel cagey, I'm going to feel closed to people who might want to connect with me, believing that I'm likely to be scarred further.
True.
Right? So when we go back to your fairness and values and issues of the kind, the right and wrong is defined in my mind.
True.
And which is why I was saying it's so much about the values, because the values are ingrained in my head as I grow, and yes, they're pushed in there.
True.
So when you look at the whole thing, first is you need to empty yourself of all the bitterness. If you're looking at any healthy relationship,
Yes.
you need to empty yourself of all the bitterness that you might be carrying. And all of us have a bit of a history behind us.
True.
Every single one of us. Either
Yes.
you're 10 or 100, you have a bit of history behind you.
Definitely.
So if you let go of that baggage, that's when you start creating a new environment for yourself. And
Yes.
if you start creating an environment that suits you,
True.
right, which makes you happy. The challenge is not so much in looking at changing somebody else's behavior, but the challenge lies in
Understanding
emptying
your
yourself
own
of your
behavior.
baggage, getting rid of it, getting rid of history, and creating an environment, absolutely starting afresh. I think
Yeah,
that would be.
Yes.
That's precisely what I was trying to say. What happens is that we have to be, most of the time what happens is we all come from different backgrounds, we have different socioeconomic status, our life experience is different from others, so your definition of beautiful would be different from the other person. So what happens is that when there is oppression, there are many different kinds of oppression. So the moment you come into an office, you step into an office or you step into a relationship, you have a preconceived baggage that you bring with you, and you feel that when you are angry or when you are vindictive, the other person is also vindictive for the same reason. Now, this is the mistake all of us, most of us make, because we always think the other person in front of us is a mirror image of me. So if I am feeling vindictive, the other person is also vindictive, when the opposite could be true. The other person is not even affected by whatever you said. You might have said something in anger, that guy must have just taken it in from one ear and left out the other. But you would feel that that person is now angry with me because I have said something harsh to him. So that, it does not affect him because he is much more enlightened than you are. But he moves on, but you don't move on in life because you've just created negativity within you, and that's burning you from the inside, and it just swallows you if you don't act on it right away. So the only way to solve any relationship issue would be to actually try and mirror the goodness in you, and the moment you do it within you, the person in front of you, if he is enlightened, then great, he'll become more enlightened. But if he is not enlightened, he will become enlightened by you. So it's all your good thing, and that is legacy, and that's what we have to actually teach. It's not just the children that we give birth to. I think everybody we are in relationship, we are all children of the same family. So we are actually giving birth to so many people through our positive ideas, and we are germinating that seed of positivity.
True.
Thank you.
Perception is projection. So how you perceive, you project.
Can I make a...
Yes, please.
What you said was that people didn't hear your dear and dear ones.
Yes.
Where I work in that space. And I always say this, the loudest scream which you choose not to hear.
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
And those are very subtle screams.
Yes.
So you better be aware of the movement, what's happening.
True.
We don't need to do a postmortem. We need to do a preventive maintenance.
True. So,
I actually work in the UN. I'm going tomorrow there to do these work.
okay, great.
These workshops there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Can I have to say something?
Sure.
Oh,
Oh, you're
I
audible.
thought I'll be audible.
No, my point is, and I've walked this journey, that initially you start with our cultural context that I play small, and then you cannot play small anymore, and you come into your power and you start doing internal work, and you come into more power, and you come into that space that you're talking about. I am me,
Yes.
I am fine, I am the way I am.
Yes.
Take me or leave me comes with it in a subtle manner. And that
Yes.
is where the relationships start suffering. Because I have come into my power. I think I have all figured out. I know what I want. This is who I am. This is who I love. I am like this. And now you either take me or you leave me.
Yes.
And I think I can be independent. I don't need anybody. I can just handle the world. I am like ABC. I'm powerful. I'm making money. I'm this, I'm that. And the other person feels, oh my God, and what about me? You know? And in that, when we are in that space, that's the time I've seen a lot of successful women.
Yes.
The relationships don't work.
That's true.
Both genders,
And-
man, not woman.
Both genders.
Yeah, both.
Because I'm only talking about myself, and
Gender discrimination.
I happen to be a woman. And I'm only speaking from my experience,
Yes, humans are equal, all are equal.
my perspective, that suddenly, that's all wrong. No, that's perfectly fine.
Give you guys a bump
But
up.
I prefer to speak in first person because that's my authentic expression. I really do not exactly know what the men are thinking. I do not even know exactly what my husband is thinking. Forget about all the other men. And though I love him so dearly, but I have realized that because I went through this.
Yes.
It was very intoxicating when I came into my power. Suddenly accessing that power, it was intoxicating. My body language changed. My way of looking at myself, way of looking at world just changed. And I was very comfortable in it. But there were so many people who were not comfortable with this new me.
Very true.
And then I had to I accept myself as I am. Do I accept this person as he is or she is? Because for me, anybody who was weaker or victimhood kind, I was like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you access your energy and your Shakti and your this? And that person is like, oh my God, save me, and you know. So there is this is a whole cycle that we go through. So this is one stage, and very important stage. But there is more to it.
Yeah, when we talk about knowing self or knowing yourself, it doesn't mean like we are looking at the other person is not good or they are low or we are not able to go along in our relationships. It's nothing like that. It's just knowing yourself, and when you know yourself, you are becoming a better person actually. And then you are forgiving yourself, you are accepting, you become more powerful in all these things. Not powerful as power like, I have more money, I'm a CEO of a company or something. No, that's not the thing. And we need to understand this, what studying or what knowing yourself is. It's an internal study. Like I was not once, in my life, I was thrown out of a job twice. Thrown. Why? Because I was honest. My principal asked me something. I was working in a school and he said, you go and talk to this person and you need to find out something from the hostel, because I used to go to hostel after my school job to teach these kids, students. And I was told, I said, okay, I'll find out. I found out, I told my principal, and very next day he said, okay, you are out of the job. Why? Because I was honest. It happened twice. Then I realized, I said, where did I go wrong? I was honest. Whatever I said was the truth. Then why? Why it's like that? So you need to, there's so many instances, so many examples we all have in our lives. But we need to find out why it happened. How can we deal with that? I can't change the principal. I can fight with him. But yes, I can change myself. It's not that I'm going to tell lies now. No, I'll be honest.
The principle that the principle has is like this.
Yes. So,
Completely accept. That is
Yes.
yes, no, but it doesn't mean I'm going to change myself, telling lies. No, I'm still
That
honest.
is not, it's not required. See, the value is, you don't have to devalue yourself. It is all about you seeing the whole world with one eye.
Yes.
You know, if there are two eyes, you can keep going and dividing it. Who has given you a right to divide the world? Who has given you right to divide your relationship? Who has given right to say, talk about good and bad?
True.
No one has given.
True.
Okay.
Very true. Completely agree with
I
her.
also agree with you.
In a lighter way, I agree with you 100%. When my wife wants my opinion, she gives it to me. I agree with you. She's pretty clear about it.
Yes.
She said, if I need your opinion, I'll give it to you. You just keep quiet. And that's why you
So that's the right that has been given.
That also is okay.
I enjoy that.
Maybe acceptance the way she is or accepting you the way you are is going to make a huge difference. I mean, we are not talking about the short term. We are talking about
No, it's
a
good.
length.
It's a light
We are
rain.
talking
It's
about
good.
a line. You know,
True.
so these are the distinctions
True.
which you have, and if you are, see, every second day you will have a different challenge, and
Yes.
it's bigger than the challenge which you have you've gone through.
Just take it by the horn.
Ah,
the challenge.
I have a saying. I have a quote which I say.
But
So
those
high.
challenges you need to take it passionately
True.
And that will grow you.
True.
Every incident in your life teaches you something. Take the teaching and go ahead.
And move on. And move on. Definitely. Yeah, please.
Sir, we need to close it, sir. It's going in another direction now.
You know, this thing is has been ringing in my mind ever since you said that somebody said, "Who are you?" And that's why we are here today. I don't agree with you. Because we are here for our own growth and development. You know, not because somebody said something to you. Now, what I feel, I go to the previous generation. You know, father was a provider, mother was a homemaker, but she was respected for what she was doing by her husband and her children. The children doted over her because she did her job, the role that was assigned to her with full honesty, dedication, involvement, focus. You know, giving values to their values. I don't know, value, this word is very controversial, life skills I would say. You know, teaching them emotional balance she kept in the family, then she taught them communication skills through bedtime stories, social skills and all that, manners and this thing, everything and she did her role. She played her role with full dedication and honesty. So when the husband saw that the children were growing very well-rounded, he respected her for that because he's going out to work and that's not easy. But at least she's looking after the whole household for him. He is not worried at all about these people. So the respect was there. Today the respect is not there because we have to understand that we are maybe husband and wife, but we are two individuals on our own journey together. And we have been assigned our roles. If we do these roles, honestly, I don't think anybody will tell us who are you and what are you doing in life. If the other person is seeing that this person is playing her role with full dedication and involvement, he will only all praises.
Very true.
When vice versa.
But why husband and a wife? They are two one. I mean, if you see with one eye, I mean, whatever, you don't have to divide only. That husband
Actually, adding to that, when you close one eye and see, and then you see the same thing with the other eye, even there it looks different. Even there it looks different. It's two different views of two different eyes on the same face.
Ultimately, whatever we are doing, it is a conversation.
Yes.
Tomorrow, maybe the conversation will shift.
True.
But you know what is there is there. But the distinction called acceptance, forgiveness, unconditional love. This three distinction will never change. If
True.
you keep practicing it in your day-to-day life, moment by moment, you are going to create breakthrough in your life.
Definitely.
In whether it is relationship, whether it is finance, whether it is any area in your life, you are going to create breakthrough.
Can I add about my own breakthrough? At the end of it, what happened? If it's okay. So at the end of it, I said what I had to, and I came at a place of acceptance because that's what she speaks of, and that's what I learned. I did accept that what had to be said, what had to be heard, was probably not heard because that's how she saw it. That was the way to, keep everything normal for her in her world. What she taught me by reprimanding me in the way that she did, she taught me to be honest in her way, and it was right in her way. And other things that I was holding grudges against, everybody was right in their way. Once I saw it with their light, once I accepted what they were saying, I was able to forgive. And when I was able to forgive, I was able to speak. I found my voice, which is why today I'm here. And this topic really intrigued me the day I saw this topic in Feb. I kept crossing out my name, putting my name, crossing out my name, putting my name. And finally I'm here because today I have a better understanding of what my relationships are, and how they have shaped me become who I am. So yes.
Very brief, 30 seconds perhaps. If you really look at it, the major building blocks of the society are two relationships. One husband-wife, the other parent-child, right? And what happens is, at an early age, all of us define ourselves basis how somebody else defines us. What I'm saying is, when my father spoke to me or when my mother spoke to me, they defined me as they saw me. And I tried to become as they defined me, right? Unfortunately, the societal structure that we have, you go to school and again, your teacher starts defining you. Now, what happens typically in male-dominated societies, and our societies are male-dominated societies, at some stage men break out of it. So people like me are taking, we say, no, there's only that much of nonsense that I'm going to take and no more, right? And I step out of that, image that has been created in my mind over the 18 years or 20 years of time. I say, I break that shell. Unfortunately, in this male-dominated society, women not only continue to live with it, but they say, okay, from one situation to another. So as a woman, I am at my parents' home, and I'm defined in a particular manner, and I step into my in-laws' home, and I'm defined in another manner. My husband defines me as another entity.
We all have these labels.
We have these labels. Versus the fact that we try and strike balances at both ends. And then motherhood kicks in. And it gets worse. Right? So if you really look at womanhood, you define yourself as a woman rather than as a mother, a sister, or a wife, the whole perspective changes drastically.
True.
And I like the way you explain, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a wife,
Thank you.
hopping from one to another, from one box to another. You create a much larger box, a much larger circle. Maybe not have a circle at all. And say it's infinite.
Yes.
And that's who I am. So if you define yourself like that, your universe is infinite, your relationships become infinite.
Thank you.
I would try and do that for myself. I guess you others might want to try that. Thank you very much.
He's a father too. Oh, okay. He's a father too, and a very, very beautiful, yes, heart.
Unfortunate, just about he's accepting the fact.
I can
That
say one
understand.
thing. My wife is the only lady in the house, right? And she runs her own company there where there are about 100 maids, right? And she's the only lady there. And believe in me, along with me, no one speaks. Because she's very clear. This is my business, you stay out of it. So it makes my life easier because something goes wrong, she's responsible. So that's choosing, that's not interfering.
Yes.
She chooses that I need my independence, you stay off. Makes my life easier.
Yes.
Yeah, but then
Chitra?
where you have to accept.
I have.
Whether you accept, willingly.
Ma'am, I have accepted. Affidavit पे लिख के दो.
Chitra, coming to your place of I am is a very powerful place. So I think the person who allows you to be, the person going along with you will always reflect that. क्या पता? No? No, true. So I think,
Go through this whole journey.
yeah.
It's a journey.
Yes.
First your egoic strength will increase and then
And-
independence and then interdependence comes.
True.
Before
No.
that it is codependence. Then independence is very important. But that's not how you stop.
Yes. And what if you end up teaching the other person to be themselves by yourself being yourself? Now, what if it robs?
That's my profession. I do that all the time.
True.
I was just saying, I'm not telling my whole story.
No, no.
It's not about me.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
I'm also looking at stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. Like when a person comes to power of I am me, and the people around them look at that, there are those who are going to get offended, and there are those who are going to support you because they like that. And who knows, you might inspire them to be that. And those who don't take you for who you are probably have played their role in your life. So, yes.
No,
Just
that
thinking
also
aloud.
will happen if she somewhere you will start accepting the way he is. Whoever is around. Yeah. So you said you have got the power now from inside you feel somewhere, and that also is an attachment. See, the attachment and being
What I really
committed.
enjoy is, and in my work as a counselor, and the first thing I say is that all of us are so jnani. The moment somebody says a little story, which is just as an example being told, everybody wants to give you advice. I never ended it with, okay, now what should I do?
No, we
Because
won't.
I know what to do and I've done what to do. So whatever, and I also in my work say that whatever we tell somebody else is exactly what we need to hear.
Yes.
Is there any question?
Whatever I teach, what I need to learn.
Perception is projection.
So it is just in these discussions, I so love that we share our stories without just hear the story. That's all, period.
Yes.
And then let everybody Because we kind of we think the other person is disempowered. They're like stuck here. They don't know what to do now. So that's not the space where I'm coming from. And I just want to share this. This is a step. There are more steps, and there are more.
Yes,
It goes on. And journey is so
It's a
important.
journey.
So thank you so much for your advice.
Thank you. Thank you,
I
everyone.
give it only when I
We are about to close the session. Yeah.
Thank you, Veda.
Thank you for such a.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
One life, just enjoy it. Going as far as I
Not just